Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It's Eric Coffin. I'm here at the Vancouver Metal Investors Forum, January 2026. I'm here with Greg Davis. He's CEO of a company called SUNPF Metals. SUNPF trades under the symbol PEAK, P-E-A-K on the venture, and SUNPF, QB in the U.S. SUNPF is, I've literally been a shareholder since day one of SUNPF. I'm friends with Greg. This is a great team. If you know the mining business and you've heard of a mine called Bisha in Eritrea, which is a great copper VMS deposit. Now Sun discovered it. It's been taken over by Chinese companies. They've been operating it for, 15 years now. But the team that found Bisha is Greg and the other guys at SUNPF. That's the team. They then moved to Eritrea. They made a couple of VMS discoveries there, nice ones. Those ones also got bought out. They then moved to Ethiopia just to kind of go around the horn. Little Africa joke, if you know what I mean. And they've got some great projects in Ethiopia, but Ethiopia, as I'm sure everybody knows, has been, pretty big political issues, inner scene warfare. It's just been a bad scene in terms of trying to get stuff done. So late last year, SUNPF did a deal to take over a company that's been putting together licenses in Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia it's basically the same rocks that these guys have been working on for 20 years. But until recently, I remember looking at Saudi years ago, and they were oil and gas guys, so they were trying to do oil and gas deals on hard rock, which doesn't work. They just don't work the same way. But they've changed and enhanced their regulations, and I guess now you can go 100%, Greg. And
that's right.
It sounds like just absolute night and day when it comes to operating in this place.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, well, as you just said, and we've spent 20 years on the west side of the Red Sea, working in Eritrea, working in northern Ethiopia, in Tigray, and we've also done a lot of work in Sudan. And it's the same geology, but we're used to rattling around in a Hilux, a 3 or 4 hour drive to go 70 kilometers on a dirt road in disrepair, full of livestock through villages, and challenging and exhausting. In Saudi Arabia, we drive out on a big modern freeway, paved, and our geos can putter on their phones because you got connectivity everywhere. So the projects are very, very easy to access, and that's the first thing we notice as on the ground as a team. The second thing, when you get there, it's the same rocks and same geology that we've had 20 plus years experience and success. So we're not just the main rocks, but also the mineralized zones are the same. And so we've done a lot of groundwork, putting a lot of investigation, a lot of research ahead of it. I think our team has traveled, we've kind of lost count, but over 40,000 kilometers on the ground investigating projects in Saudi Arabia. And where we are now, as the deal you mentioned last fall, we now have ultimately about over 1,200 square kilometers. And it's not all in one package. It's sort of rifled. Right. It's selected very, very carefully based on our experience. We have 15 licenses. 6 of them are granted, 2 pending, and 7 coming as part of the auction process. It shall be wrapped up in the next month. But ultimately, 15 licenses, over 1,200 square kilometers of very, very prospective ground, that we're quite thrilled about. On 3 of the projects, we've begun work. Before starting in November, actually, ahead of the deal closing. And we announced our first results on Thursday, a couple of days ago, at a project called Al Ahila, where we're quite happy. We've defined a zone already, 650 meters long strike, up to 30 meters wide, with very significant gold and silver at surface. We're very pleased. This is what we've seen when we've had success in the past. Right. Our next steps are, we've mapped it out to extend it both directions. It goes quite far. It does pinch and swell, so we'll have to test that. But we're doing ground EM on 2 other projects, and then we're moving it in early February to Al Ahila, right. And that we'll be ready to drill after that.
So you guys kind of, I don't know if you've written the book yet, but you probably could write the book on this. Just to in a very simplified form so investors can kind of follow along as you guys put out news, what's the preferred sort of methodology, the steps to get from boots on the ground first time to, okay, this is where we're going to put drill holes into this?
Sure. Well, it's integrated, but step one is a good geology map. So detail mapping, and that's what we've done on the 3 projects I mentioned already. The first step was just getting a good handle on geology. And then within that, I mean, if the mineralized zone outcrop, which they do in all 3 cases, you're pretty dialed in there. So sample across, get a feel for the grades at the surface, and that's what we announced on Thursday. And then the next step is, there's 2 real methods we use: ground gravity, which very tightly spaced ground gravity, to sort of define the massive sulfides we're looking for has a specific gravity of 4 and up, or 3.5 and up, and the country rock about 2.7. So if we have enough concentrations or enough tonnage, it should show, and it does show. That was key at Bisha 20 years ago.
Right.
So that's a very important step. And the other one is the ground electromagnetic methods, time domain EM, and we're using a very sophisticated system which will define conductors and model them as plates. So we're quite happy we are seeing these plates in the ground. So like the example of Al Hila, at surface you see the oxidized material, but somewhere down there we're going to hit the transition into sulfides, and that's where the base metals will sit. So we won't know that until we might have a feel for it with EM, but until we drill it, we won't know. That's coming.
And I know with the years, in Ethiopia, they were very frustrating for management, frustrating for shareholders, and I know having finally sort of gotten through that and got into a place that seems to be a dream when it comes to infrastructure and for that matter permitting. You guys are going to hit it hard. You really want to kind of get things going now.
Yeah, absolutely. Our MO is, in a short period of time, we've established an office in Riyadh. We've established a compound guest house and office east of Medina in a town called Al Hila that will service their projects in the north. And in a town called Bisha, not related to the mine Bisha, but the Saudi Arabian town called Bisha, we have a guest house and office, and that services Al Maya. And also the continued work of geological tourism work we're looking to add to our portfolio. And then in the south, in Al Hila, we're out of the town of Najran. So we've established that infrastructure. We have 12 geologists on the ground. We've got our vehicles and our systems. We are going to explore and assess as quick as we possible and drill and continue to, our goal, like I keep saying, is to repeat what we've done multiple times here, though. We think more than one, and to keep looking ahead. And we're taking advantage of some of the grants from the ministry there to incentivize exploration. And then once we are over that fulcrum and in development, there's great programs from the ministry and the government there for low interest loans to finance the capital costs. So if we can get over that fulcrum, then we're on our way and we can really deliver.
Yeah, I mean, Saudi Arabia seems to be really, really serious about. They really want a hard rock mining industry to augment the, obviously the oil and gas they already have.
And that's the change you mentioned earlier, where they've changed the laws in 2019 so that foreign ownership can now have 100%. But there's still a lag, but now the sentiment has changed, and it's from the leadership down that they want to make mining the third pillar of the economy behind tourism and, of course, oil and gas.
Right.
And so that's a game changer for us.
So what are you thinking? I mean, I know you don't want to stick your neck out too far, but I mean, you're pushing the groundwork forward as fast as you can. Is 2026 going to be a year of drilling on some of these things?
Yes, we're working on acquiring drills right now. If we could, we're working to drill in Q2. That might be a little tight. So as soon as we're looking for quality drillers, we got 10 companies we're talking to. We need quality machines and reliability. So if we can, it'll be Q2, but it's safer to say Q3 and Q4. Okay. And it looks like we'll drill at least 2 projects this year, and maybe 3.
Okay. 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 SUNPF Metals, like I said, great group of guys. They've proven over 20 years they know how to find high-grade VMS deposits, and high-grade VMS they're, you know, those generate very nice, very high margin deposits if you find a good one, because you get the combination of high precious and base metal grades. So your value per ton can be quite high in these things. These guys know how to find them. They've done it before. Sounds like they got a bunch of great targets to find new ones this year. They're cashed up. They're, you know, like you said, 12 geos in the field. It's full steam ahead. So SUNPF, PEAK on the venture, and SUNPF, QB in the U.S. This is a story you really want to follow. I mean, I know these guys, and I've known, you know, Greg and I are friends. We've known each other a long time. I've watched these guys find mines before, and I think they're going to do it again. So you need to be on this story. It's a great one.